What's the first thing visitors notice about your website? Is it your carefully crafted copy or your strategic site architecture? No, of course not. It's probably the images. And with only a few seconds to get your visitors' attention and make them want to stick around, quality images are going to be key. In this video, you're going to discover not only why professional quality images matter to your website design, but I'll also share with you exactly where to find them across multiple budget points, even free. And yes, we'll get into AI and how it's revolutionizing website imagery and how both professionals and DIYers can make use of it. Your image choices could make or break your website's success, so let's make sure that yours are working for you and not against you. Before we get into that, if we haven't met yet, my name is Meg. I'm the founder of Floating Lotus Design, and I'm a Squarespace web designer and SEO specialist. Why do quality images matter on your website? I'm sure you're sitting there rolling your eyes going, duh, Megan. It's a website. It's a visual medium. If you don't have good images, you got a crap website. Well, I tend to agree with you to a certain point. You do have to look at your website as a whole. It isn't just the images. It is how your images also work with your copy and the structure of your site. It's a complete package. When you're using quality images, you are using them to convey your brand to the world. And if you don't use quality images or inconsistent imagery across your website, it can come across as unprofessional. People may be visiting your site and start to doubt your capabilities in whatever service or products that you offer. If they're going from page to page on your website and the imagery, the colors, things like that are inconsistent, that can raise, subconscious red flags, and you don't want that. You only have seconds to engage someone when they visit your website, so you want to keep them there. Showing that you have carefully crafted and curated imagery that flows with your site is going to give an air of professionalism and help elevate your brand to your visitors. And you can do this DIY, you can do this working with professionals. And we have enough resources these days that anybody can make good choices and have quality images on their websites. Now, if you've got that in place and you have that consistency and a good feel and you craft it well along with your copy and the architecture of your site strategically, all of these things together are going to help your customers to trust you and hopefully lead to sales. So why quality images? Why do they matter for your website? And you may have paused there to roll your eyes and say, well, duh, Megan, it's a website. It's a visual medium. Of course you want quality images. Of course they matter. What does that mean? So let's start with the basics. Pictures has to look good. You're not seeing pixelation. It's not looking blurry. You want it to be crisp and clear. You want it to be able to maintain the quality of the image, that clarity, regardless of the size of the screen that it's on. These are the kind of things that matter, not just from a visual perspective, but also from a technical consideration. These things can affect the loading speed. Talked about the responsive design. All these things can lead to an overall experience on your website that, when you have low quality images, can have a negative impact. Now let's talk about how to source high quality images. And fortunately, we live in a time now where there are endless resources for images at many different price points, from free to highly paid. And you can get decent images regardless. So there's really no reason that budget should be standing in your way of sourcing quality images to use on your website. Let's start with the highest budget and work from there. As a web designer, nothing makes me happier than when a client comes to me with professionally sourced brand photography for their website. If you can hire a photographer who specializes in brand photography, the benefits are countless. They're going to know exactly how to work with you to get the best result, and they'll be able to come up with many different options for you and work with you one-on-one. It's a great collaborative effort, and you're going to get high quality images from somebody who really knows what they're doing. The ROI, this is a big investment. Professional photographers can cost several hundred to several $1,000s depending on the packages, but you are hiring professional. You are hiring somebody who's really going to know their craft and is going to know how to work with you to get the best from you and for you. And personally, I think these times when it's tough being in a small business, if you have the budget and you can support your fellow small business owners and artists, by all means, do it. Hiring a professional photographer is always going to be my number one pick whenever possible, and I recommend that if you have the budget for it. Now, let's talk about paid stock photography. There are a lot of resources where you can get paid stock photography. This is where you buy a subscription or a membership to certain sites and have access to professional photography. Some of these include companies like Elevate Visuals and Hootstock. These are ones where you can buy monthly, some cases quarterly or annual subscriptions to, where you can download unlimited photos from their websites. Most of them now include short videos, which is very helpful. You can get some stock videos if you use those on social media or your website. They also offer lots of extra resources like templates or custom curation. Sometimes you can filter and search based on your color palette or certain moods or vibes, things like that, that really make it a fun experience, but help get that consistency across the board. Now, we'll say Elevate and Hootstock kind of do lend more towards the feminine side of things, so keep that in mind, but there's also others out there as well. Death to Stock is an interesting player in the market as well, has some, more trending or, more unusual type of stock photography. Lots of folks are enjoying that, and that's worth checking out as well. As then there are other things like Envato Elements and Creative Market. Now, these are not specific to just stock imagery. These are offering stock imagery, sometimes fonts, other graphical elements. So when you go with these, you're usually buying a subscription to their site and everything they have to offer. You can download assets using that subscription. You're not just limited to stock photography. And finally, you have some of your old standbys as well, like Getty and Shutterstock, where you could just buy an image at a time and pay per the image. The thing you want to keep in mind when you're buying stock photography is to make sure that you are aware of what the licensing is and what you can use it for. Most of these, like Elevate and Hootstock, I'm not sure about Deathstock, but most of them might offer the opportunity for you to use some images free so you can see if the types of images they offer work with your brand and your look and feel before you commit to purchasing a plan. So you always want to kind of look for that. But if you're going with something paid, you know that you're going to get a certain level of quality. You're going to get images that aren't necessarily flooding the market, so you have a better chance of not looking like everybody else. Now let's go on to free stock images. There are a multitude of resources out there where you can get free stock images, and the quality these days is quite good. Some of these include Pexels, Unsplash, Pixabay, Kaboom Pix, which is just fun to say. The thing you want to be cautious of when you're working with a free stock image provider is trying to make sure that you're looking for not overly used images. A lot of images you see, then you're like, I've seen that image 1,000 times on other websites, social media, or advertisements. You do run the risk of getting things that are overused. Some ways to avoid this. Some of them, like an Unsplash Pexels, might show you how many downloads a certain image has. So if you've got one that's had millions and millions of downloads, you might want to look for something that's not so high on the download side. A way to look for consistency across imaging, because that can be a little bit difficult. If you find one you like by a certain photographer, you can usually search from that photo and from that photographer to see more of their work, and you might come across more photos from that particular photo shoot or from that photographer that might go together, so you can put more of a cohesive set of images together. It can be a lot time consuming to do all of that, but it can also be a lot of fun. Keep in mind that with the free stock images, you want to make sure that they truly are free in terms of royalty free, that you can use them without having to pay anything for use on your website. Some might actually say it's free, but you have to provide some attribution to the artist, to the photographer. So just make sure you check those out. And now that brings us to the ever popular and ever present AI generated images. AI imagery is everywhere, and some of it is amazing and impressive and fantastic, and some of it is god-awful. Of course, some of your major options here are Midjourney. So you can create your own custom images for your website. I think it's a fabulous option, but the thing about creating your own custom images in something like Midjourney or even Leonardo and ChatGPT and everything else is that it's a skill set. It takes skill to learn how to use the prompts correctly and come up with really good quality images that you're going to want to use. So that's something that you really need to invest some time in. If that's something you enjoy and you want to learn, go for it. I've seen some amazing work by some people out there in Midjourney. I've dabbled with myself. It's a lot of fun. Of course, recently ChatGPT came out with their new image creator and people are going crazy about it, and it looks really impressive. Try it out if you want to try it, but know that if you're going to create them yourself, it's not something you're going to be a pro at right away. An alternative to that, though, is purchasing already made AI photos from marketplaces created by artists who are really good at creating these AI images. And there's some fantastic stuff out there. Lumi is one that looks very promising. They have both a free and paid plan so that you can search and download AI generated images by professional artists. And they even have tools within their platform where you can edit and restyle some of those images if you don't necessarily want to create images yourself, but you like the look and feel of these. That might be a good resource. You can play around with it for free and go to paid if you want to take it to the next level. So let's briefly touch on some best practices and implementation tips. Once you've got your images, consistency across your website, super important. When curating your images, you want to make sure that you are using ones that are going to have a consistent look and feel across your website so that everything flows and looks professionally done. You want to balance your images with your overall design. You don't want too few images. You don't want too many images. You want just right. Find your Goldilocks place. There's no right or wrong answer, in my opinion. I've seen websites that have very few images that look amazing and work very well. I've seen some that are very image heavy and have the same effect. You really have to balance things with your overall brand, message, what you're trying to get across, and how do the images affect that? How they play into that strategy and support what you're trying to achieve with your website, what you want your visitors to do. Getting into the more technical SEO aspects, make sure that your images are optimized for the web. Whatever platform your website is on, whether it be Squarespace, WordPress, Showit, etc., many of them are going to have some specific guidelines for that platform of what they recommend. So you probably want to check out support articles. But with Squarespace, which I specialize in, we are looking at images that are 250 kilobytes or less. We can only use JPEG and PNG files at this moment. Other platforms can also allow SVG or WebP photos. So you want to make sure that they are in line with the guidelines for the platform that you're using so that they will be optimized for that platform and show up well. Also, from an SEO perspective, is making sure that when you do put your images on your website, they have alt text. This is very important for accessibility reasons. Remember, not everybody that comes to your website is going to necessarily have perfect vision. They might have some challenges and might be using screen readers. So having that alt text to describe the images on your page is so important. And finally, I've said it a few times here throughout, but I really want to hammer this point home. Make sure you understand the licensing. If you're working with a professional photographer, you can talk to them directly and make sure you understand if they require any type of attribution or whether they're going to completely hand over all rights to the photos to you. Any resource, storefront, any of those providers worth their salt is going to have their licensing information clearly listed on their website. It's very important that you understand the licensing to make sure that you're doing things the appropriate way, and that will save you a lot of heartache down the road. You don't want to have copyright infringements on photos. And finally, if some of this seems a bit too much and you're just feeling like I don't have the time or the desire or I don't really know if I know how I want to pull all of my images together, you can also hire a designer. That's going to require a little bit of an investment, but lots of designers such as myself offer VIP or design days, either half days or full days, where we can help you. We can help you source images and curate some images for your website that will be cohesive and in line with your brand and get them loaded onto your website even. So, if that's appealing to you, that's something you can also consider. That you don't necessarily have to do this alone. You can get a professional eye to help you out with that as well. So finally, just to recap, you want to make sure that you are getting quality images to make sure that your visitors have the best experience possible when they visit your website. With so many different options out there right now, there's no reason you can't find quality images for your website, whether you have a budget of $0 or a budget in the thousands. Invest in the best resource that your budget allows. Try a couple of different resources out to find the one that's the best for you and enjoy the process along the way. I will be leaving links in the description down below to all of the resources that I mentioned in this video, so feel free to go and check those out and have fun. I'll see you in the next video.